I'd like to call the Village Board and Planning Commission special meeting to order. It's Thursday, October 12th, 2023 at 6:15 p.m. I myself, Mike Capper is present.
Frank Cron.
Josh Heck.
David Wallner.
Ken Lehman.
Shelley Williamson.
Caleb Gunn.
Chris Dubak.
Chris Moreno here.
And absent is Donnie in the waiting room, or
Not yet.
absent from the Village Board is Donnie Kern. Absent from the Planning Commission is Lane Belter and Dan Vanas. Call the special meeting to order and stand and pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nobody here for public comment, so Claire from MSA, if you could, want to start your presentation?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. My name is Claire Michelson. I'm a planner with MSA. Have been working with the Planning Commission on this document as well as with Todd Streeter and the first part of this comprehensive plan process with the community action plan. The Planning Commission, when I was in attendance at their September meeting, thought it would be a good idea to do a joint meeting with the two bodies together before this just shows up on one of your agendas for approval. And so I really appreciate you guys coming to a special meeting, same with the Planning Commission. I know you guys have had a lot of committee meetings this week and the past couple of weeks, so I really appreciate it. We've been working with the Planning Commission to kind of finalize some of these recommendations to take from what was done in the community action plan as well as heard in the community survey to put this into a document that is compliant with the statutorial requirements for the state of Wisconsin. So this evening, I'm just the 42-page document with like 5 appendices. I'm not gonna run through the whole thing. I just want to give a high-level overview, and most of that will just be kind of going through the draft document that you guys have in front of you. And so I guess the main thing I want to point out as I get started in this, particularly for the village board members, since the Planning Commission kind of has been following us through this, is the general vision, which is found on page 3 of the plan. This has been crafted mostly from the feedback, actually, of the community action plan policy or process, not policy, process. So the vision that we have come up with is the Village of Somerset is a vibrant, family-friendly community that has a strong sense of pride. Somerset has a variety of recreational amenities available, ample public infrastructure and facilities to support growth, and good working relationships with the school district, county, and the surrounding townships. While the village will grow over time, the community will continue to celebrate its history and maintain its small charm. And please stop me at any time, ask questions, interject. Like I said, this is kind of it. This is its final form, minus a couple tweaks if any edits come out from tonight. Like I said, I already have to change a picture that I know of and that I missed from other meetings. And so we'll take those edits when have them back in a week. They'll probably be hopefully minor, so we wouldn't have to bring it back to committee like this if the resolution to recommend it to the village board is approved this evening. And then state requires the 30-day public hearing, so it wouldn't be on an agenda until November anyway. So sorry, I should have started with that. I got a little ahead of myself with the document. So really, this plan encompasses all of the goals and policies and actions within your community elements, broken out within agriculture, natural resources, utilities and community facilities, intergovernmental collaboration, economic development, housing, mobility, transportation, and then land use. And then the bread and butter of really what we'll go over this evening is that implementation plan, which is Appendix B as part of your packet this evening. So really, I would be happy to read every single one of these goals, policies, and actions, but I do think that our time would be better utilized going through Appendix B, which is taking all of those strategies, laying them out in this grid format, and identifying a short-term versus a long-term goal We did our best stab, based on what we had been hearing from the commission and community members of, you know, if this is a short term or a long term. Sorry. Oh, okay.
Better video and audio for
Okay,
everybody listening
perfect. Thank
later on.
you. Thank
Thank
you, Mike. And so as the decision makers in the community, we want to make sure that this is correct with the short term versus long term, and make any amendments to this or any of these strategies before, like I said, we send it to public hearing and final draft form. So I'm gonna go through these, and if you have any comments or changes, please let me know. Like I said, these goals and policies have been through the planning commission before we just threw them into this action plan. So, so the first one is, the goal was to balance conservation of increased access to natural resource amenities. And then the strategy action plans are to develop and maintain a list of preferred native plants and trees for landscaping to be used in development review and project planning. Update the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan as needed to be eligible for grant funding. And I know that that was discussed at last night's public works meeting. And so we can remove it or we can keep it and you can check it off the list. It's up to you guys.
Keep it.
Yeah, you want to keep it? Okay. And then maintain and update as needed the village's wellhead protection ordinance. So we have those as short-term goals within the next 5 years. Does that, anybody have any changes or comments to that? Because I know if I'm going too fast, let me know, I can slow down, but. Okay.
Doing great, Claire.
Great. And then the second goal for Ag Natural Cultural Resources is preserve the Apple River and create new places and events that contributes to the identity of Somerset. We have, during the budgeting process, consider funding recommendations to enhance unique cultural characteristics of the village. That's obviously ongoing. Every time you're going through that budgeting process, we're recommending to keep that in your minds as you're developing that budget for each fiscal year. Develop branding marketing that promotes civic pride and clarify the village's cultural identity as a great place to live, work, experience in the community. We have that as a short-term goal. We know that was a really big strategy from the community action plan with the community pride subcommittee. And so we know that there's a relatively active group still of those community members. So support community events and programming year-round that activate downtown and attract residents, visitors, especially programming that appeals to all ages of community members, not just including youth, older adults. Obviously, we have that as an ongoing strategy. And then inventory and survey historic sites and structures in the village, short-term. And if anyone thinks that there's too many short-term or too many long-term and that this is, feels like a little unattainable, we certainly can, like I said, move some of these around if there are higher priorities. Okay, we'll move on to utilities and community facilities, super fun. Village of Somerset will have high quality, cost effective, well planned and efficient system. We have all three of these strategies as ongoing. These three implementation aspects are really more of just conducting of regular inspections, maintenance of the systems, making sure that you're sharing information with residences and businesses about available incentives for different energy and utility resources throughout the community, and utilizing asset management through mapping and other 5-year like capital improvement planning to prioritize those projects. Certainly something you're probably doing most of them already and just continuing that in the future. And then Village of Somerset will have high quality community facilities for residents, businesses, and visitors alike. Holding the annual meeting with the school district to address issues and concerns about serving the community, particularly related to growth and development. Collaborate with private organizations that are serving the recreation needs of families. And again, updating that court plan to remain eligible. We have that short term. We already know that's going to get checked off the list, but a good thing to keep on here for your 2024 year. Have you already submitted the budget for 2024?
No.
Not yet.
Still working on it.
Cool. Intergovernmental collaboration, goal 1, continue to collaborate with neighboring communities and other governmental entities to achieve sustainable growth patterns in the Somerset area. This is recommending that we schedule regular work sessions involving elected officials, key staff from the village school district, and other relevant entities or state agencies, whatever those may be, to discuss issues and opportunities for collaboration and enhancing some of that sharing of recreational amenities between the school district and the village. That's an ongoing strategy, and then meet at least semi-annually with representatives from the town of Somerset to coordinate projects and address shared challenges, particularly with growth and development. Goal 2, enhance the efficiency and quality of public services by collaborating with other governmental entities in the regions. This is exploring those different grant opportunities to develop some joint services with other municipalities to reduce cost as your services improve and you grow as a community. And yeah, economic development. So this first goal, we have 3 goals for economic development: develop and support a comprehensive approach to development activities in the village of Somerset that will expand and diversify the economy. This first strategy is we have it positioned as a long-term goal to consider utilizing incentives like TIF districts, and we already have multiple of those within the community, but continuing using those revolving loan funds and reducing land costs to help reduce land costs to support commercial business and industry. So it's something that with the TIF districts, it's already sort of ongoing, but some of these other opportunities is a long-term strategy. And sometimes those TIFs, they have their years already set on them. So it's also kind of long-term is where it fits when some of those mature and they roll over and things like that. Implement feasible recommendations from the Apple River Waterfront Development Plan and the Village Park Master Plan. That's ongoing, continue implementing those to help grow some of the economic development that can come from recreational amenities. And then consider purchasing additional land to build or expand a new business park, and that we have that positioned as a long-term goal. Or long-term strategy, sorry. Goal 2, revitalize the downtown as a plan for the community together, or place for the community together day to day and night, 7 days a week. Ongoing strategy of exploring the options to fund and promote and support the downtown, redeveloping vacant lots, building enticing property, building improvements. Short-term goal or strategy of develop a downtown plan that considers the potential town center and redevelopment opportunities based on the vision portrayed in the CAP presentation, which is an appendix within this larger draft document that will all be included as part of adoption. And then develop and implement a downtown marketing campaign to attract businesses and entrepreneurs to invest in the area. We have that as a short-term strategy. Goal number 3, strengthen and support the village of Somerset's tourism industry. Short-term strategy to develop wayfinding signage that better direct citizens and visitors to key destinations in and around the village. Long-term strategy to consider opportunities to add community enhancement projects such as murals, entry features, see the CAP presentation for those specific examples, the archway. Establish community development task force to develop a cohesive brand for the village, to develop a strategy and foster family-friendly tubing and other amenities within there. And that kind of coincides with the community-wide wayfinding signage. I think we would assume that type of committee would kind of champion all of those types of projects particularly for the downtown. Work with the owner and leaser of the Somerset Amphitheater to consider additional non-music events like an art festival, food festival, and then work with the Hudson Trolley Company about including the village in at least one of their tours that they offer. A short-term goal. Anybody have any comments or questions on economic development positions?
Nailed it.
Great, okay, I love to hear it. Okay, we only have 3 more left now. So housing, we only have 2 goals within housing, but the first one kind of encompasses a lot of different things. So housing in neighborhoods throughout the village will provide a range of affordable, accessible, safe, and desirable housing options for existing and future residents. with an ongoing strategy to regularly evaluate and revise zoning regulations to consider providing a wider range of housing options, accommodate the diverse needs and preferences of residents. For example, permitting accessory dwelling units in all residential districts. Another ongoing implement programs and incentives to support affordable housing, market rate housing, such as tax credits, grants, partnerships with developers and housing organizations, to consider the following initiatives, which then are these B1, B2, B3, and B4 are all housing grant offerings through the state of Wisconsin, as well as some other private public partnerships. And so we have those as a short-term goal. And then the ongoing one is to work with the Wisconsin Housing Economic Development Authority, WHEDA, to ensure that all income qualified residents have access and knowledge to any sort of state mortgage and loan programs that are there. So just, I mean, even having something on the village's website, that's something that can be relatively low cost, low maintenance, and ongoing operative strategy. And then the last one is housing developments will be sensitive to the integrity of the existing and future neighborhoods. That integrity piece of it kind of goes back to ensuring that the existing utilities are, up to snuff for what is existing, as well as expansion and land development into new and future neighborhoods, but also reaching out to historical organizations to ensure rehab, remodeling, and new additions to historical buildings and housing structures protect the integrity of those structures. Okay, and then transportation and mobility. So three goals here: create connected, livable neighborhoods that offer multimodal transportations for all residents. All these first three are all ongoing strategies to continue implement a program to identify, repair broken and substandard sidewalks throughout the village. Part of that can go back to the community facilities and the asset management. If you already have an asset management system with a lot of your public utilities, some of this identification and note of repair can all be stored within that same asset management software as well. Biannually evaluate village roads using pavement surface evaluation rating program, and then update that official map as needed. So again, back to the asset management and keeping your utilities up to date and what's been amended or changed or expanded. Goal number 2, enhance pedestrian and bicycle safety and accessibility. Establish dedicated bike routes to promote safe cycling, clearly designate and mark pedestrian and bicycle crossings, and improve access for pedestrians and cyclists to major traffic areas. And we have those cited as short-term goals within the next 5 years. And then enhance transportation efficiency and connectivity in the village. Short-term goal to develop, again, that wayfinding signage network plan, highlighting key resources and amenities, and then install the signage once that plan is adopted, not just make the plan, implement it. And then ongoing strategy to work with the town of Somerset and St. Clair County to implement measures to minimize access points along major traffic routes, including consolidating driveway entrances when you're doing your extraterritorial plat review, particularly with the Planning Commission. So we have for transportation. And then the last community element, land use. We have 3 goals. The first goal is to create a sustainable development pattern by working with the West Central Regional Planning Commission to protect water resources while ensuring that an adequate supply of land in the sanitary sewer service area to accommodate anticipated and planned growth. And then continue to exercise the extraterritorial plat review powers to help ensure that future annexation and development is within your growth pattern, within your utilities expansion limits, and making sure that any of those subdivisions wouldn't be detrimental to your growth pattern within the towns. And then goal number 2, establish balanced neighborhoods throughout the village, updating the zoning ordinances, considering the possible changes. That's what those subsections are. Review the code relating to housing density, consider allowing more multifamily housing in the commercial downtown district. Review and strengthen landscaping, signage, lighting, building design standards in the village zoning ordinance and consider the standards outlined in the sidebar in the chapter. So land use chapter is chapter 6, sorry. And I think, I'm trying to find what page that was on. There's a bunch of more specific zoning code changes that we have pointed out, I think based on, I think they're within each of the different land use categories since we're reviewing within the land use category, like neighborhood residential, what zoning districts are currently included within that. But I'm gonna change that to land use categories. On my side of things for that one. And then the last one. Third goal is to create places that are vibrant, attractive, and unique, especially along the village's main street and Wisconsin 35 corridors. And the strategy for that is to develop and implement a plan to make the village current and future entry corridors attractive and inviting through the use of things such as landscaping and lighting. Consider working with the Somerset Downtown Alliance when planning for these important corridors. And like I said, Bob had given me some comments this morning, and there was another community group that he had suggested adding within that.
The champions.
Yeah, the champions, yeah. So, but I got those this morning. So this version doesn't have Bob's comments. But we will add that. And there was another place within the plan that mentions this, and we'll add that the champions group as well for that. So those are, I guess, are there anything that I mentioned that you want to discuss or expand upon or change from what the actions are, as well as the short-term versus long-term and ongoing? That's a lot of information.
No, I actually have a question. So is
Yeah.
this about as thick as that this is gonna be? Because the last one was like, do you remember how we had to read it? Thank you.
Yes,
We had to read that.
yeah, so
This is as thick as it's gonna get?
yeah, so this is the full document, is 41 pages. I think with the appendices, it might be as thick as that, but the appendices encompass the community action plan presentations, this action plan, the full results of the community survey, which we had 150 people fill out, so that's a lot of paper.
That is a
And
lot.
some of them were short answer questions. But that way, if a community member says, well, I put something in the survey, what I said isn't in the plan, you say, okay, but look at what everyone else said that is different from, this is community plan, but we like to incorporate that in the appendices so that, we want people to be involved and continue to take surveys and do other things. So that's an appendices, and then all of the maps, utility maps,
Right.
expansion maps, future land use will also be appendices. I think there's 5 appendices. So it may look like that, but the actual content is this 41
that's-
pages.
yeah.
Yeah. And really, this is the heart and soul of it.
This is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we really, you guys worked really hard with the community action plan. We wanted to reference all of that work. So we really utilized those guiding principles that came out of that process to establish these.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I got a couple edits from Bob, just that champions committee, something with the zoning, and the photo. So,
Well, the photos of Stillwater, so that's just.
yeah, I know, and Bob said he's got a bunch of parks photos, so he said he'll send me some, so
Okay.
I'll switch that out. I will make, you have Any edits
This
this
one,
evening?
right?
Yeah,
This-
yep,
Thank you, okay.
yes, the weird bridge that's
Yes.
not here, yeah, yep. Um. So,
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add, Claire?
I don't think so, unless anyone I mean, I'm happy to answer any more questions.
Actually, it's on here twice.
I
so-
saw that,
okay.
actually, as I was
I'm like,
looking
"Am I
for,
losing my-"
the zoning part, I was like, wait, it's in here double. Yes.
Anybody have any questions for Claire?
If you do later, you can send me an email.
So no other changes? Would anybody like to make a recommendation?
Caleb Garrett make a motion to, recommend this to the board for approval.
Randy Crone, second.
Any discussion?
Will you,
Do a roll call vote.
yeah, will you do your, amend your motion to state the item 5A? So it's,
Amend my motion to, item 5A, consider, you want me to read all that?
yeah,
Resolution 2023 through 14, or -14, recommendation approval, Village of Somerset 2043 comprehensive plan to the village board.
Randy Crone, second.
I guess I have a question, since it is the village board here, do we still have to send it to the full village board after this?
yes.
So this
Because
is
this is-
approval of the joint,
This kicks it into that public hearing notice that needs to occur.
Once it's posted, yeah.
Yes,
So we have, like I said, a
30 days.
week to make these changes and then we'll send it all so that when the public hearing notice is posted, the full final draft is available for the public. I mean, they can look at it now if they wanted, but yeah, for any of those changes, yeah.
thank you. We have a first and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Donnie's on there now.
Oh, Donnie's honored.
Yep.
Opposed, same sign. Unanimous. Thank you.
Randy Crone, motion to adjourn.
Josh, second.
Donnie Kern, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is, or meeting is adjourned at 6:42 PM. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Claire.
Great job.
I was gonna do a roll call for